Those who have moved to court as fraudsters. William Ruto has maintained that the Social Health Insurance Fund will be implemented whether there are court orders against it or not. This statement from the head of state comes just days after he held a meeting with Chief Justice Martha Koome and Speaker of the National Assembly Moses Wetangula. As NTV's Brian Mushiri reports, the president seems to have vacated his position on following court orders terming those who have moved to court as fraudsters and enemies of progress.
President William Ruto, Chief Justice Martha Koome, and National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula met in a meeting that some saw as putting to an end the tug of war between the executive and the judiciary. It was agreed upon that the three arms of government would perform their functions in a manner that respects, promotes, and enhances the rule of law, institutional independence, and respect for court decisions. Fast forward a week later, the head of state is at it again.
Wako na comprehensive medical cover na hawataki mwananchi wa kawaida akuwe na medical cover. Mimi nimewaambia liwe liwalo, juu chini, kulia kushoto, mbele na nyuma, mpaka mwananchi wa kawaida pia apate hali ya kutafuta matibabu.
The Kenya Magistrates and Judges Association is not taking it lightly. In a statement, the association has condemned the president's utterances and actions of the political class at large. The statement reads in part, and I quote, "The Executive Council of the Kenya Magistrates and Judges Association has noted with deep concern the continued atavistic attacks against the judiciary, individual judges and magistrates by the political class, even after the tripartite meeting between the heads of the organs of state. It further adds that these most unfortunate attacks appear to be systematically planned, sequentially executed, and unconscionably amplified and popularized by leaders of a certain persuasion. End quote. The president, who is in Meru, took on the opposition for castigating the affordable housing project and other development projects set to create employment in the country.
Nikiongea na nyinyi saa hizi, vijana 1130 wanafanya kazi kwa mpango ya housing. Alafu kuna watu wengine wanasema wanataka kusimamisha hiyo mpango. Nyinyi watu wa Kerua na watu wa hapa Bori na watu wa Meru, mtakubali watu wasimamisha hii mpango? Mtakubali hiyo mpango?
Several leaders who accompanied the president in the region made their commitment to the head of state.
Na rais wetu, sisi tunaendelea kukuunga mkono. Tunashukuru vile umekuja kaunti yetu ya Meru siku 3 kwa mambo ya maendeleo. Na rais, hapa kwetu Meru umekaribishwa, hapa ni kwako. Wewe utufanyie kazi, hawa watu walikuunga mkono, ni waangwana, wataendelea kukuombea na sisi tutaendelea kukuunga mkono.
Mimi rais, nataka kukushukuru sana sababu ya hii safari ya siku 3 ambayo umekuja hapa Meru kwa maendeleo. Na hata kama tumepiga kula last ya 1 year ago, kusema ukweli rais yetu hajachelewa, si ndio? Sasa rais, sisi ni kukuunga mkono tukiwa wajumbe wote wa Meru, wale wa National Assembly na mimi pale Senate tunakuunga mkono.
The president is in Meru for a 3-day development tour. Brian Mushiri, NTV.
ODM party leader Raila Odinga is now demanding stiff action against those perpetrating violence against women in the country. Speaking at Tononoka grounds in Mombasa, the Azimio leader maintained that women should be given equal opportunity in society and urged leaders to empower women for sustainable growth. Odinga has also condemned attacks by the Israeli government against Palestinians. The leaders are expected to attend an ODM recruitment drive later.
Sisi kama county karibuni tutatoa na ile revolving fund. Pesa muweze kuzitumia kwa minajili ya watoto wetu. Tumeelewana sio? Tumefahamu.
Kwa hivyo yote ambaye atachukua hatua ya kupiga bibi au kuwa bibi achukuliwe serikali hatua kali ya kisheria, afungwe jela miaka mingi zaidi. Sisi tunalani haya vitendo vikali sana. Gender violence is a big affront to security in our country. We must condemn gender violence in the strongest terms.
Welcome to the Broadcast Now section of Wiper Party leaders led by Matungulu MP Stephen Mule have demanded that the already deducted housing levy from salaried Kenyans be refunded after the Court of Appeal found that the action was unfair to Kenyans as it only targeted a section of the population. Speaking at Chumbi Secondary School, where he was accompanied by Mavoko MP Patrick Makau and Wiper Party Organizing Secretary Robert Mbui, the leaders hit out at the Kenya Kwanza administration over what they termed as defiance of court orders. They called on employers to stop the deductions, saying the illegal levy was driving more Kenyans into poverty.
Ile kodi unatoza wa Kenya ya housing levy is unconstitutional and it will remain unconstitutional in a democratic country called Kenya. Kwa hivyo wacha kujipiga kifua ukisema utaendelea. Mimi nataka kutangazia waajiri wote wa Kenya nikiwa hapa Mavoko. Hakuna kutoza hiyo ushuru, is unconstitutional. Tafuta pesa mahali pengine ujenge nyumba zako. Ametisha koti, lakini nataka kushukuru wale wa Court of Appeal. Jana wamesema hii muradi ya kuchukua pesa yetu ya kwenda kutujengea manyumba na sisi tumejipanga na manyumba zetu, hiyo kitu ni unconstitutional na wasimamishe. Mheshimiwa Makao ni commissioner kule bunge, kwa hivyo huyu ndio anatulipa mshahara. Mheshimiwa, unajua tumekatwa hiyo pesa miezi kadhaa.
Sasa koti imeamua, wewe tuambie mshahara mtaturudishia nini? Ile mulikata mturudishie.
Welcome to the Broadcast Now section of Wiper Party leaders led by Matungulu MP Stephen Mule have demanded that the already deducted housing levy from salaried Kenyans be refunded after the Court of Appeal found that the action was unfair to Kenyans as it only targeted a section of the population. Speaking at Chumbi Secondary School, where he was accompanied by Mavoka MP Patrick Makau and Wiper Party Organizing Secretary Robert Mbui, the leaders hit out at the Kenya Kwanza administration over what they termed as defiance of court orders. They called on employers to stop the deductions, saying the illegal levy was driving more Kenyans into poverty.
Ile kodi unatoza wa Kenya ya housing levy is unconstitutional and it will remain unconstitutional in a democratic country called Kenya. Kwa hivyo wacha kujipiga kifua ukisema utaendelea. Mimi nataka kutangazia waajiri wote wa Kenya nikiwa hapa Mavoko. Hakuna kutoza hiyo ushuru, is unconstitutional. Tafuta pesa mahali pengine ujenge nyumba zako.
Ametisha koti, lakini nataka kushukuru wale wa Court of Appeal. Jana wamesema hii muradi ya kuchukua pesa yetu ya kwenda kutujengea manyumba na sisi tumejipanga na manyumba zetu, hiyo kitu ni unconstitutional na wasimamishe. Mheshimiwa Makao ni commissioner kule bunge, kwa hivyo huyu ndio anatulipa mshahara. Mheshimiwa, unajua tumekatwa hiyo pesa miezi kadhaa. Sasa koti imeamua
saying the government had subjected Kenyans to illegal deductions during the period when the case was in court. Speaking in Siaya County during the fund drive at St. Michael ACK Church, Oriri, Siaya Governor James Orengo and Safina Party leader Jimmy Wanjigi, alongside other opposition legislators, called for a speedy investigations into the deductions days after the Court of Appeal ruled the housing levy unconstitutional.
When those who voted for Kenya Kwanza thought Kenya Kwanza was the answer, they have discovered that Kenya Kwanza is a disaster. Life is becoming difficult every day. School fees and many other things that, we should be having a tax relief, we're having a tax burden. So the choice for Kenyans is to stand firm.
The one he has collected is unconstitutional. Return it to the people of Kenya. And if you do not return it, you have decided you are causing more pain. You have decided you are against the constitution of this land. You have decided to be a thief, contrary to your oath. And we are going to ask the people of Kenya this question. Mutaendelea na hii mtu ama mutaendelea na yeye?
We are also asking the president to listen and to obey the constitution. Yes. He must obey the constitution. If the judiciary have decided on an issue, he should not interfere. Let the judiciary be as independent as possible, and he should not be seen to be interfering with that, because
it didn't come yesterday. We all know the cost of living was high, even before the Ruto regime came into power. I'm surprised the cost of petrol has gone down from 217 to 212, and nobody even has talked about it. That's one way of bringing things down, because I'm very convinced that our dear President Ruto, His Excellency William Ruto, is more concerned about even this cost of living than anybody who is on the street singing cost of living, cost of living. Yeah. It was his agenda right from the beginning. It was going to be bottom up. And he has not abdicated that message yet. But if you find a hose in this ray, you have to make it neat and tidy before you can even start moving up. So for me, I'm very convinced that he's going to make a change in Kenya. Already we can see the changes. He has been all around the world. When we say that he's globe-trotting, as we know, he's going to negotiate the loans, he's negotiating for jobs for these young people. These young people, We are always saying they lack jobs. Kenya is small, but we have become international. Now we are a big global, village. And jobs don't just come. You have to negotiate, you have to go to other countries. We don't want people doing illegal migrations, going to go and look for jobs. And that's why he has been going around to make sure that we do legal. Like now we have, I think, thousands of jobs ready for Kenyans. Thousands. Because I know one country 10,000, another country 100,000. So our youth definitely are getting good jobs.
Now Jim has articulated it very well. We have one common problem in this country, and that is the problem of the economy. Jim here is an icon, and I want you to note this. We have had two struggles in this country. The first one was for our independence, which we attained. And these grounds here in Meru, we had two major heroes, Musa Mwariama and Baimungu, who knew what it took to struggle for the independence of this country, who gave up their lives for the struggle of this country. The second liberation, you have a hero here in Jim, standing right here, liberated us from our own local colonialists, and it was a democratic liberation, so that we have democratic space where we can choose our leaders. We are now in what you call the third phase of our liberation, and that is called economic liberation. The greatest freedom of all is when people have money in their pockets to do unto which they want to do. It's the greatest liberation. And unfortunately, we are at a stage where we are at the greatest enslavement of economic liberation. We are being enslaved. The president the other day said that his only problem is debt. 2 days ago. That is the only problem. Hakuna kitu kingine. That out of 10 shillings, 7 shillings is going to pay debt. That is our enslavement. We have said for over 1 year now that this debt is not legal debt. This debt we should not be paying. This debt is enslaving us and finishing us. It is the reason why we have high taxation. It is the reason why we have the fall of the shilling that Jim was talking about. It is the reason why we are going nowhere economically. I can tell you categorically, hakuna taa huku mbele. There is no light with the method this government is using. As long as they are paying this useless debt, this illegal debt, they are going nowhere. They are not going to solve this problem. In fact, every single day we live is going to get worse. We also know that they have reached the stage where they cannot pay this debt. And very soon, life is going to become unbearable to us. We are not going to take it, because those who have brought us to this bankruptcy cannot get us out of it. You cannot have a manager in a company who takes you to the brink of bankruptcy, alafu unasema yeye ndio atatutoa. It is not possible. It is not possible. So we have given them notice. Labda some of you think we are just talking. We have given them notice. We have said that by the end of March, if this does not change, then you shall see action that is synonymous to action that brought the first liberation of Kenya, synonymous to that brought the second liberation of Kenya, and will bring the third right before your eyes.
And I have to say, without any fear of contradiction, that the state of the economy in Kenya is on a downward slide. The Kenya shilling is falling at an alarming rate. The cost of living is a matter that is tragic. And this is one debate that the Kenya Kwanza administration does not want to address. And they have no answers to it. When they were supposedly elected, they said they will not borrow. In order to make life better, they are going to subsidize production and not subsidize consumption. But we've seen where that policy is taking us. We are not any better. And the more you tax people, it has an impact on how well we can produce. And over-taxation is killing industry, is killing farming, and is killing all the sectors of the economy. And there is no answer in sight. I can say, without any fear of contradiction again, that come the next 6 months, the situation in Kenya is not going to go and to become any better. We who are the counties, the monies that are supposed to come to the counties, they are not coming, and if they come, they don't come on time. My friend Molo Tiende is here. Even other funds, including the CDF, is not being remitted by the national government. So we're in a terrible situation. Now, the worst part of it is the onslaught on the judiciary. It is unfortunate, it is reckless, and I think the Chief Justice has already said to the President, give me the evidence, because judges are not above the law. Judges can be arrested like any other person. There are judges who have been arrested for corruption, and we are not saying there's no corruption in the judiciary. If he had evidence, then this conversation can come to an end by arresting the corrupt magistrates and judges, and we'll say hallelujah, because we also don't support corruption in the judiciary. But he has no powers to threaten the judiciary. The Constitution is very clear on how you can deal with judges, with magistrates, where criminality is not involved. If there is a criminal offense, report to the Director of Criminal Investigations or to the Anti-Corruption Commission. It will be dealt with without so many of these speeches. So I say and repeat, give us a break. If you have nothing to talk about, please don't interfere with the judiciary. It is a co-equal arm of government, and the judiciary similarly does not interfere with the executive except when they are called upon to hear and determine cases involving the executive. But I think it's touching a dangerous place. I can tell you, many years ago, when we were struggling for the second liberation, we got support from the international community and many stakeholders in Kenya when the government at that time decided to take on the judiciary, because they were feeling the judiciary was not friendly to the administration at that time. And I can tell you, even this time around, this whole issue and debate about the judiciary is because of the cases which the government has lost in the courts. The Attorney General's office is there. They can appeal. They can take matters to court. So lamentations is not going to help.
I think it's clear that as a country, we are on a trajectory towards doom. And I thought that it is only some of us from Rarieda or the Lake region that are suffering. But having come to Meru, I see it's a common problem. The way the students are stranded in my constituency, because CDF has not been released and bursaries therefore cannot be given, is the way students in Buri constituency are suffering. The way head teachers and principals are stranded on account of not receiving capitation money is the way principals in Buri are suffering. The way students are suffering under the junior secondary school because there's no money to construct classrooms and their teachers are still employed as interns is the way they are suffering here. So it is clear that we are on a wrong trajectory. It is clear that a lot of things have to change, and only a blind person would deny that. Secondly, it's about the judiciary. I think it's unfortunate that we're in a situation where this regime has muzzled parliament. I am a member of parliament, but I can confirm that it has muzzled parliament. The last institution that is standing is the judiciary. There's a clear and present danger to muzzle the judiciary so that it can sing the tune of this regime. That would be unfortunate. I think William Ruto must realize that court orders must be respected. And if he keeps saying that he will defy court orders, then we ourselves will go back to the very order that made him the president, the order of the Supreme Court that declared him the winner, and examine if we were to defy that, where will that take us as a country?
Wow, Machegni. Rumae en Onagi gi Twak Makende. Twak Makelo dongruok mar Onagi kokelu kod an a boxan aila koya gwenge mag Netherlands. To kawuono wan gi chenro mapek sana. We arwak nyaminwa Caroline kanyo mondo mi orwaknwa welo duto te budho makawuono. Karibu sana Caroline. How are you nyaminwa? How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Aboksan. Erokamano ahinya ne chenro ma kawuono. Ago erokamano nikech Nyasaye osemiyo wangima mwaneno odiechieng' ma kawuono. Omiyo dang'is mana jowinjo ni Gwel Wadu, karibuni sana machiegni uru mondo mi wadonje twak ma kawuono. Makwadonje twak ma kawuono to onge ng'ama waweyo chien. Warwako jogo duto mane gwengo mag Kisumo. Orwako jogo duto mane gwenge mag Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori, Sirare, Kisii, duto warwako jaka jo Nairobi, kik pana we jomoko oko, nyaka jo Mombasa. Warwako duto mondo mi winj chenro ma kawuono, wawuoye dongruok marwa, kaka wanyalo dhi mbele kaka Onagi, gi gigo mwanyalo timo manyalo kelonwa dongruok. Machiegni uru. An gi nyinga pod an Caroline Othim, kawuok e gwenge mag Kisumu, Kenya.
Chonjo kabisa. Kawuono wan gi wendo miluongo ni Mheshimiwa Honorable Obungu Owich. Actually en backstage kae, warito mana mondo odonji fully. Yote tisa wan kode kae, to budho ma kawuono en budho mapek, budho ma kawuono en budho mosingnu gi chuny achiel, budho ma kawuono wadwa chungo kata ng'iyo duto te mosetimre chakre juma ni ochakre. Juma manyoro chaya osebedo juma mapek Caroline. I think inya bear me witness nikech waseneno mang'eny sana, kwa ng'iyo Jovoi kocha, kwa ng'iyo jo Courts koni, kwa ng'iyo Court of Appeal, Court of Appeal, kendo kwa ng'iyo mano High Court, kwa ng'iyo High Court, kendo kwa ng'iyo iluongo nade Chief Justice nodhi moromo gi the executive, yote tisa. Kwa biro kata koro siasa kae kende kwa ng'iyo weche siasa kae, siasa ba iye okorore, siasa iye osemuoch, siasa iye obag gi ngano gi jogo mong'e gi dho ngere iluongo ni obage ka ex chapati kose en mo kajab kose siasa sani
Ma ajab.
siasa obage gi mo kajab kanyo, to yote tisa onge ringo pondo to nitie. To kapod warito aneno mheshimiwa nika, aneno mheshimiwa okay, aneno mheshimiwa nika osedonjo mana dakika achiel kende mondo arwake kae full force kae mondo arwake kidogo tu. Chonjo mheshimiwa nikae to ero. Yes, karibu mheshimiwa.
Hello.
Karibu. Yeah. One kare.
Wasna Caroline Othim.
Chonjo Caroline umosi kande.
Nitiere ambende. Sumu tuko sawa.
Akao, karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Aparo ni nena mabaya.
Aya.
Sawa, antiere. Antiere asedonje twak kendo an gi geno ni jo Kisumo dhi nene, jo Kenya, jo Uganda, jo Tanzania, jo Luo duto kamoro amora ma gintiere, Onagi kamoro amora ma gintiere, Amerika, pinje duto kawuono gintiere ka kendo gidhi winjo twak kaka dhi nyime makare. Kisumu ka wamor, Nyasaye omiyowa teko wadhi maber kondele wuodwa ka Kisumu Central nyaka Kisumu County magima. Kenya kwa jumla, asanteni.
Chonjo kabisa to kapo kwa dhi nyime adwa donjo comment section kae aneno Lilian. Wow, I don't know, mheshimiwa aparo ni volume achiel kuom wakae ni malo sana momiyo wayudo feedback mar ginene no. Yeah, I don't know kwanya duoke piny kata wanya nege. Oh yeah, adwa donjo comment section kae mondo oh yeah. So aneno Lilian Churchill Oduoru warwako giduto te chonjo kabisa. Adwa mana chako malo kae kwa biro nyaka piny. Erokamano, asante sana Griffin Dupes asante sana kuome ochakre achaka chonjo kabisa chonjo kabisa aneno Rap Dog Madida. Erokamano sana Rap Dog Madida. Aneno Nyakwara Dala kanyo, aneno Hamilton Jones, Willis Ojok, asante sana Willis Ojok. Ruto has owacho gimoro kanyo. Caroline, Willis owachang'o kanyo?
Ruto has defied our constitution, and for this matter, we will arrest him and take him to committee maximum prison.
Chonjo. Mano longo ni mano jeshi la baba. Ino ugudu morwako no. Mano ugudu mangisi ni hapa mbele kutakuwa na danger. Aneno Dogman Madido wachang'o kanyo, Caroline?
Ruto is raping the constitution.
Chonjo. Aneno Emily is watching. Erokamano sana. Toyote tisengine okanya somo magi te nkeche sa okchalni kanie korwa kae. Mheshimiwa, just as we kick off, I don't know, wow, sao said it, but ongeringo podo tonitie. Mheshimiwa, we've seen waneno mang'eny sana makata mang'eny moko kanya tugo nikech sao osedhi kae, but mang'eny moko idhi nyisowa, mang'eny moko be wadhi mana penji kae, onge ringo pondo to nitie. So kapok achako adwa mana winjo mayo from the horse's mouth. Kenya ringo kanye sani in general? Piny ringo kanye mheshimiwa? Wan kaka jo Kenya, wan kanye? In kaka mheshimiwa, wan kanye?
It the other day, piny ok dhi maber. Kendo kana network, inyalo paro ka nipenja the same question. County Regi Caroline. Yeah. I told you Kenya is headed to the dogs. And that can be demonstrated kaluwore gi kaka piny sani en. Because one, yudo ni nyoro kane waneno news moro e fwambo moro, to naneno the full analysis mar kaka Kenya ok ni makare kaachiel kod neighboring countries. Iwachonwa ni cases ma Uganda osetero against Kenya in court. Iwachonwa ni the DRC nigi cases gi Kenya kendo they are not so good in terms of the book. Tanzania bende okomor gi Kenya e weche mag Tanzanian Airlines. Kendo iwacho ni pinje moluorowa okomor kodwa kaluwore gi kaka gik moko osebetie. Miyo mano nyisi maber ni Kenya ok ochung' maber in terms of the economy. Kawaduok e mano generally twabiro kuom the ordinary citizen kaka owinjo dak mare kaluwore gi kaka piny chalo. Wang'eyo ni cases nyoter before the courts kendo courts nyose make determinations. We are so happy the courts nyo relate the current status gikalore kaka japiny en gidwaro mar japiny ma court nyo make final and positive determination. The High Court nosewacho maber ni weche mag the housing levy is unconstitutional. The Court of Appeal no make the same kendo neo chako finalized on the matter. We are now waiting for the Supreme Court to make also another final deliberation on the matter. Cases mang'eny kabisa manye court nyo wacho ni ok gin gik man kare kendo gin unconstitutional. That one tells you very well ni courts ntiere gi nosemek gimiluongo ni miyo Ruto gimiluongo ni lack of confidence kendo gisenyiso Ruto maber ni sirikand Ruto gionge go full confidence. Omiyo nyisi makare ni kaka jo Kenya wantiere sani the executive oseluar gi siandane, legislature mabende Ruto nyose compromise bende osegore piny gi siandane. The only hope ma wan godo kaka jopiny and the judiciary manyote mo compromise, but we are so happy ni kaluwore gi kaka courts nyo odhi maber kendo pod wantiere much hopeful that things will get better. Yeah.
Wow. Iwoye wach mar ginene mar housing levy no unconstitutional be ntiere wach moro kae be Caroline, wach mar health ni mano be court bo wacho ni mano be is also unconstitutional mheshimiwa. To akiani mano be wanyagwele kose wagwel mana housing ni kata wahayo housing ni mondo kapok wadhie weche gite wawere gi mago te wadonje party kae party ema gima sani kwang'io kata baba kata kwang'io ODM owuok ayanga giwacho ni a strong ODM is a strong Azimio, a strong Wiper is a strong Azimio, a strong Jubilee is a strong Azimio. But waneno ODM emokao otekuni owuok oko to gi drive to ineno jo Mombasa wacho ni baba koro nyaki chunga gini 2027 as it is. To kwa winjo siasa mar Azimio be Azimio wacho ni Kalonzo emadhi kao gini kata Kalonzo emadwa siro. Yote tisa ingeni magi ilongo ni akerekeke. A lot of things is happening today. Kanyo i ODM wawinjo ni Junet be dwa wuok, ntiere siasa moro moro mar Junet koni Junet kacha, mano be biro. Koka ochuno manyaka baba wuoyo mowacho ni Junet pod ntie. In wach gi kaka japati kata kaka activist man kanyo. Then I don't know if Karo nigi penjo moro kanyo, maybe onya penjo kata onya wacho achiel ariyo adek kamano kapod warito mheshimiwa duokna paro no.
Aboksan, aparo ni e wigni wabedo gi gik mang'eny mosetimre nikech waneno a lot of things happening. Kwang'iya chakre wuok tich mokalo manyaka ochopo odiechieng' ma kawuono, nitie gigo mang'eny mosetimre to ok dang' wawuoye gi duto. I feel ni kawuono gima wanyalo ng'iyo en gik moko ariyo. Mokwongo wang'iye e issue mar housing levy. To gima be nada penjo housing levy mada penjo mheshimiwa ni gi pachi in iwuon kiweyo the issue of the court, the issue in gi pachi in iwuon. Do you feel like ni ka otim gima in emidwaro and then you feel ni iyudo justice koso kotim gino makare? Which one is justice? Timo gino makare koso timo gino midwaro? Mano penjo na mokwongo kwang'iyo about the issue of housing levy. And then the other question manadwa penjo en ni sama wuoyo e politics, be wang'iyo wach mar nikech Aboksan okelo the issue of ODM party nikech aparo ni Azimio we have different parties coming up together. Can we get an insight ni apart from ODM nikech ayudo ka ODM ema ringo saidi, apart from ODM, the other affiliates, the other members modonje Azimio, what is their contribution towards making sure that the coalition obedo made very strong? Or what are some of the things that you think that the party poko chope nigi geno mar ni mae gima wadwaro timo kata what are some of the goals ma party neno ni mae gima kwatimo to can do as best? Or is it a one-man show? Let me call it ni en mar jo ODM kende koso en mar joma moko bende?
Penjo go gin penjo ma are very fundamental. Gima nyaka wayiere mokwongo ni an awuon kaka Obungo Wich. Wang'e ni Kenya as a country it is a country misguided by the rule of law. Piny ma wan godo en piny miriambo gi katiba. Omiyo sami penjo ipenjo ni adwaro ni mondo weche maga ilongo na weche mag ute ma igero gi sani gi Kenya Kwanza kata gi President William Samoei Ruto Onego timgi e dwacha, koso onego timgi kaluwore gi kaka katiba wacho. Mokwongo, onego timgi e dwacha kokalo gi katiba. Nikech katiba wacho ni japiny eman malo. Teko duto nitiere kuom japiny. To an awuon kaka Obungu Owich on behalf of my own self, to gi kaka ng'atno magore ne ratiro mar oganda. Wach mar ot, wach mar gero udi, en gima ber, en agenda maber. Kendo yiena mondo awachni ni wan kaka jo Azimio la Umoja, presidential candidate marwa mane en Raila Amolo Odinga, kane wa campaign, manifesto wane wuoye udi manengo gi yot, gi kaka ne idhi gere. Gima kelo weche en koso tiyo gi dwaro mar katiba e yore mag choko omenda gi keto policies mag guide wach mar udi gi kaka japiny biro benefit directly e ute migero. That is the only source of problem. That is the only issue ma wawuokie oko kendo wakwedo godo e okang' mamalo e wach mar housing levy. Otherwise kidok chien, ka sirikal masani ne nyalo luwo yore motegno, yore makare, yore ma katiba opuodho e yudo nweng'o ni keto chike motegno gi kaka japiny biro benefit directly ka utegi osetiek gero, wan kaka jo Kenya ok wanyal bedo gi pingo project machalo gi mano. But makosa mantie en kaka ikawo pesa mag jotich, makosa mantie en okenge moketi e yore mi explain godo kaka jotich biro benefit e ute moseger. Ka penji penjo, kata kineno iwuon kaka ja Kenya, onge chik motegno, policy framework moketi ma jatich ma ikawo pesa kuome in the name of housing levy biro supporte. Nitiere samoro judge, samoro police, samoro japuonj mantiere kod ot. Already en kod ot. Ticha kinyise kendo ni ochako gol pesa mar gero ot moro machielo no bro benefit e odno. Higa ma odno biro rume, mibiro miye odno bende is not dictated. Manyiso ni mano en an injustice on its side. Mano is an extortion. Imaye pesa e gig agoko. Miyo mane mapingo maduong' kabisa, kendo awacho ni onego bedni wach udi itime in accordance with the Kenyan Constitution. Katiba wacho niya, onge gimoro amora mitimo ne japiny kapok openje. Gima nonego bedni sirikal mar UDA ne timo mokwongo, nonego bedni gi-offer gimiluongo ni public participation. Public participation ne gikelo stakeholders stay together. Those that are workers, joma tiyo, the employees mag sirikal, giketo ge piny to ginyiso gi ni chakre kawuono, mae kaka wabiro dwaro mondo mi wakaw part of your salaries mondo wager godo ute manengo gi ni piny mabiro konyo uwegi higni mabiro. Mano ne ok otimore. Mar ariyo, wabiro kwayo mondo wakaw pesa maromo kama, this percentage from your salaries. Uyie jopiny ne koyie to ne nyalo dhi mbele. Because mago duto ne ok otim. It was like dictatorship because sirikal chuno ni wabiro gero utegi to pesa bende wabiro kaw kuomu kod tuon. Mano emomiyo kot owacho ni en gima ok nyal dhi kare. Omiyo an awacho ni kapo ni sirikal chieng'o amua ni gidwa keto chike motegno kaluwore gi gima kot ne ochiwo advance. Kot ne owacho ni gero udi ok en gima rach, but ot nyaka ger kendo pesa nyaka kaw kuom japiny ka oyie nonego bed ni kawo pesa ne ma ok nyise yo moro machielo machal ka gima mayo pesa pod agoko. The second question, ing'eni political party ka political party nitiere gi kaka otimo chenro mare. Mane momiyo political parties gi gibedo founded under the very constitution ma wantiere godo. Then nitiere gima iluongo ni the act ma wuok through the registrar of the political parties. This registrar of the political parties act ema dictate kaka political parties timo its affairs. ODM as a party is founded under the very constitution ma wantiere go mar Kenya. Mo guide kaka make its activities kata its movements. Osechiwo thuolo and the legal framework kaka otimo the activities mage ma ok contradict the very constitution momiyo its existence. Omiyo party mar ODM nigi ratiche mar luoro Kenya ko mobilize its membership ka oluwa Kenyans mondo maonge e ODM party mondo join the party. That is why giyawo the platform mar registration man *83 *036# ne ji duto te madwaro mondo mi odonje party kendo migi thuolo ma gitiyo godo mondo gidonji e party. Wiper as a political party, an affiliate party in the Azimio, NARC Kenya is also an affiliate party. Jubilee is also an affiliate party. So the other parties maybe are part of the Azimio are also allowed to go around and make popular and popularize their political parties. Mondo gibed motegno. Kawangi waduto ateni kochopo 2027. To wacha kwa loso odwa motegno mar Azimio kwa biyu de yiero. Omiyo onge makosa. ODM katiyogi the legal structures, ODM katiyogi its organs, mondo mobilize itself in preparation to the 2027 elections. Mokwongo, kaka chama mar ODM kapodwa way through the Azimio. Party mar ODM negi its membership, the MCS, MPs, women rep, governors, to gi senators. Gin kod ratiro gi katiba margi mondo migi luor piny mondo gi sensitize the people on the need why they should join ODM. Kapodwa way weche mag organizing ourselves as a vehicle for 2027. So onge makosa, any political party is allowed to do
that. Okay, thank you, Jatelo. Nitie gimoro achiel manada penjo nikech kaluwore gi kaka wang'iyo kaka piny dhi sani, ing'e ni iwacho ni if you cannot beat them, join them. To kwang'iyo UDA party, kawuono koro wadwa ng'iyo ni UDA party ni en ang'o motimo nikech wayie ni waneno ka piny ok dhi maber. Owacho ni sirikal matiyo oketho piny, kech nitie, ang'o arach, gik marach ng'eny. Tiyudo ni kata tho rach, lakini en gi ber ne omiyo ng'ato yueyo e rem. Koro, ei Jubilee Party ni en ang'o nikech nyaka bed ni un kaka jo ODM kata jo Azimio nitiere gik museneno niya ni kae magi ma to waingogo jo Kenya Kwanza. To kae ma kende magiingo wae, to magiingo wae ni wadwa timo achiel ariyo adek. En ang'o ma un kaka jo ODM kata un kaka jo Azimio useneno ei sirikandni muneno ni mane gima ka overturn kata overtake to ukawe?
ODM party is popular. In Eastern and Central Africa, ODM party is the biggest. Kawa de Katamana in terms of, ODM is the third largest political party after ANC in South Africa and CCM in Tanzania. So the popularity mar ODM also attract larger population, mondo bi obedie ODM. Then ODM party and party mosebeduka ochungne gorwok ne ratiro mar jopiny. That is why people love ODM. Unlike UDA. Ineno kasani ODM is saying there is high cost of living. And gigolo kaka onego bed ni sirikal mar UDA onego bed ni tiyo gi chike mantiere ma obedo regulated the constitution mar. Mondo me fight this problem and high cost of living. Gisegolo kaka onego bed ni gitime, the solutions. So that to me, I feel Lemano is a plus. Two, ODM as a party and part of an alternative party, ne other people mantiere parties mamoko mauge fail netimone gik moko monego bene gitimore. So through ODM bende waketo yudo leaders man are elected in ODM party. Gimbe gise hold those people that are in government accountable. Mano bende has also helped us a lot because through that corruption of pain, nikech leaders can give penjo jok manie sirikal kaka gitiyo kod pes jopiny, the embezzlement, kata misappropriation, kata the corruption in the government, iyudo ka koro ok bed ahinya kaluwore gi kaka jomoko ketogi into check and balances. Hawacho kamae, through ODM, nikech wantiere gi leaders mo believe in transparency and accountability. Wan gi leaders mo believe in social, economic, and political well-being of this country. We believe in the good governance. That is why I support it. And as I subscribe to ODM because of belief in the good governance. So unlike UDA, Maoko believe in the good governance. And that is why I believe Nika ODM power through Azimio. Pambele kucha wabro bedo kawan maber. Nikech gimame wacho ni ODM power through Azimio. I believe the party leader mar ODM Ka wachakwa front kendo 2027 as an Azimio flag bearer, to wabro benefit directly kaka jo ODM, wabro benefit kaka jo Kenya, wabro benefit kaka jo Azimio. That is the main reason why we are saying the ODM and Azimio is good moingo the UDA. The UDA does not want to listen to the problems facing the ordinary Kenyans. Iyudo ka weche mag kaka jiketo chiemo is a problem. Weche mag tero nyithindo school is a problem. Kawuono ni ndi antiere gi big list. An gi list maduong' ma kata nitie, I will be able to read it. Magi nyisi nyithindo mar very needy a society ma wantie. Nitie nyithindo mi itang'onwa through social media. Sirikal mar Ruto wacho ni nosegolo pesa mar bursary. Owacho ni osegolo pesa mar scholarship. Owacho ni osegolo pesa mar TVET. Owacho ni osegolo pesa mar university. Owacho ni osegolo pesa about 60 billion. Nyocho land rallies ma intiere. Osegolo 60 billion for puonjo nyithindo. But you realize that is not there. Kawuono ni nitie penjo mana box and penjo about the health. Kawuono Ruto wacho no dwa golowa through NHIF, to dwa terowa through social insurance, social health insurance fund, which king'iyo the policy framework about it, ok en gima is cooperative. King'iyo kaka idwa kete, ochalno ka gima ng'ato nitiere gi insurance fund somewhere. Mabe William Samoei Ruto na nitiere gi some insurance fund. Ma ene modwaro ni en be insurance neno fund neno emo mi tich mondo mi run the affairs of this country. Manu nyiso maber ni this government is not ready. It is not a government that supports the ordinary system. Therefore, we must usher in the new leadership, Mar Azimio, come 2027, for us to be freed from slavery.
Wow. Angipenjo mheshimiwa. Angipenjo but ngechisabe osedikae yote tisa ongeringo. Iwacho watch president launching projects kako wacho ni enogolo pesa osemiyo ji pesa ogolo school fee ni akiang'o to in kanyo iwacho ni in gi list mar nyithindo moko dhi e school form 1 mapoko report, which is true. To jopiny be wacho ni ji ywak nyithindo poko dhi school kawuono gikia kata ni gidhi timo ang'o. To kae waneno president mabiro manyiso wa ni kako support education. We've seen now he's been heckled all round. Kwonde temo dhi, he's been heckled. But still, one know MPs achiel ariyo adek like Anthony Kibagendi actually adwa echo what he said, and I want to echo his actions. Is one of the MPs mobiro out mowacho ni Mr. President, this is how things are going. Kwa ground vitu ni different. So ukiendelea hivi, we are sure of 2027 okidhi neno. So president will reply, I was not elected to be re-elected in 2027. Tiende ni president nigi kiburi, or is he doing what he knows, or otimo gimokia kose, who is advising the president? So hunun kanyo, baba ni kanyo, jo Azimio teni kanyo, munaangalia tu munaingia kwa shimo ndio hii. Onge gimunya timo before we go into the ditch. Ngechukua ngiyo another ministry of finance Kawuono be or resign. Wacho ni onodwa resign, but ongise ni onge kumidhi. How? What is this showing us? In kaka mheshimiwa, in kanyo, in siasa kaka di. In yesongo, what are you telling us? What can you tell us?
Aboxan, the chief legal advisor to the president and as the attorney general. And the president Njire Nyaka, the legal, the advisor ma uchungne weche mag economy. Milongo ni David Ndi. You remember David Ndi no se nyiso chien kucha ni the economy is not stable. Mo nyiso ne pinyok de maber. Mo wacho ne President Ruto. It is high time that he admits that the country is not headed towards the right direction. Despite all these advices that Ruto has gotten through his own people in his government, his own people that is employed in his own government, Ruto has still kept deaf Iwinja. Kendo otamore yie ni gik madhi mbele no, ni gina dier ne piny ok dhi maber. So one of wanyal advise Ruto, because one will compete kode. Jacom compete kode in terms of ideas. Jacom was his opponent in the last election. Tich maduong kabisa ma Jacom atimo Raila Odinga is there to correct what is not right. And that is what he's always stood for. He's always been championing for good governance. He's always been standing for justice. And because he's been there, that is why this country is what it is today. My friends, today, and they were window man tech moingo kaka wanti. It is true. Need the people around Ruto. The advisors, kata manajok matiye serikande kaka maiwacho, an example that you've just given out. Somebody who wants to resign. Why would a government? Why would a head of a government refuse somebody who wants to resign? That is a simple question. Why would someone refuse to let someone go? So it tells you there is a problem somewhere that needs to be fixed. But since William Samoei Ruto, now you got the presidency, can you plan not the own? And give no poor in it or you. And when you pocket the structures my bear, Maunalorian Pocoto pain. The moment you keep on attacking your son, you get the country into campaign mood. President Manadi, Musike Vigari, Pelekapela to Chaloka give promises. President Manadi, Mapodini Vigari, Okini Gutieno, President should not be on top of a vehicle every now and then to watch your penny, we will do this, we will do this, we will do this. Already in the pesa. Or such a Kosuru Mangan. And government is in place. Let them fix the problems that are facing this country, but not giving us promises each and every time. These empty promises. Ruto Riambo, pile to manekite. Because Ongegi Maber will demonstrate for us as a nation. Need a commitment towards taking this country to the good state. Onge anywhere. Magi gik mama wacho kaka jopiny kendo wanuoyo ni kaka odhi no Kibagendi mano me the advice no. That is the best person. But Ibro neno ka ubro avoid it. Already you said okay ni oken after re-elected. But Ruto is a politician. And a politician makao power Kawuono to thinks about another election. He's not a leader who thinks about the next generation. That is why he keeps on politicking. He keeps on doing politics every time. The Ekling Mause Timore in his visits across the country should worry him at the head of this country. He should be a disturbed person. Why are people heckling? Why are people heckling me? Even if it is not a direct heckling to him, but when his people who are in UDA are being heckled in front of him, then because that to me is a sense of demonstration. People are tired with this leadership and he should call it quit. Work a position my interior. Yeah. And our journey, whatever Jacob is doing today, my friend, we are headed towards a time bomb. I was journey, you must be much a Kenya Cadibero, my back money with you, going on and you must be what there. Some of you could near their box and get so for real and when me a beach, a broad could be so free and allo for me a beach, Mondoberg so free allo for a video. Kaito, what Mongano, my pack money and you must be the Kawatimo. It's one we call a pack money with Kakwadware. I get Monty the god of Libero Mayot. Yeah. I know the Caroline Yara, Sophia, god of Alupangwen me a beach. I don't know me a beach. Analopa baby, or Romo Kenya.
Manonyol Berkose, Manomon.
Madon Jomanevi, Macarom Giviane, Madon Jomanevia.
Yes, Carl.
Yeah, mheshimiwa beti duoko gimane adwa penjo nada penjo niya nikech aneno ka kata manyiso wa ni mondo waluor jotendwa waluor jogo motelonwa to aneno ka sani okosebedo mayot ne jo Kenya luoro jotendwa ng'enyne iyudo ka jotendwa ka ng'ato they can just ginyalo bedo heckled, inyalo gone gi uwi, inyalo tim ang'o. It has become a norm. Be en gino maber nikech aparo ni kata in kaka jatelo inyalo chopo, ok inyal timo gino mamoro ji te. Ibiro neno ka nitie jomoko mok bi mor gi gimitimo, to nitie jomoko ma be mor gi gimitimo. Be en gino makare ka jatelo bedo heckled gi pachi in iwuon? Is it correct? Koso ng'ama jatelo en ng'ama nyaka mi luor? Mano ne penjo na mokwongo. Penjo na mar ariyo en wach mane aparo ni kane pok wachako ne nitie video moro mane dhi mbele. Wawuoyo about the arms of the government, the judiciary, legislature and executive. Wacho ni executive president osekaw, legislator bosekaw. Koro iyudo ka kendo widu chako wacho ni judiciary oketho. Kare mane makoro odong' ma onge lwedo e iye en mane? To mane makoro wanyalo wacho niya ni this is what we believe in? Nikech napenji penjo moro niya ni wanyalo wacho ni constitution kata wanyalo wacho niya ni telo mar government ni orachnwa, kata gima timre ni rachnwa. Does it mean that ni orach 100%? Koso ntie kuonde moko mobere? To kiweyo mano, wacho ni gigo ma ODM bere. To ka ODM bere gigi, penji penjo moro mabe okidwoka ni ginang'o ma in kaka Obungo Wich inyalo wacho niya Kenya Kwanza to bere magi ma wan kanyo pok wachope. Nikech koni upako kaka inipako kaka ODM ber, Azimio ber, kendo une monego bed notelo. Kendo kichaki dok koni tiwacho ni president omako executive, president omako legislature, president jero koro donje e judiciary. Does it mean ni president nitie gi gino ma uno kunyal timo? Nikech iwacho ni wase gweno to wase ogwang'. Koro kae gweno en gima ber, en ODM. Wanyalo chamo gweno, nyalo tokonwa tong' ober. To gwang' be wanyalo seyo gweno to kendo waseyo gwang'. En kanye ma waseyo godo gweno? To en kanye nikech waseyudo kuonde ma waseyo godo gwang' niya okelonwa taxes, okelonwa fake promises kata promises moko timiza. To ginang'o giri ma waneno ni kae to ng'ani nigi power kae? Mane penjo ma penjo nikech kapok wang'eyo ni kanye moingwa godo, taparo nikech ka wan overconfident ni wan to waber, wan wachopo ka, wan gini waseloyo, gini wang'eyo, gini wabere, taparo ni nitie moko mwabiro we piny mabe walinga linga, koso mago gin in house ma oko nego bed ni wacho.
Aboksan, Caroline penjo mang'eny kabisa, koka nokandikgi, koro abro duoko mana maparo na abro duoko. But gima duong'e kabisa kuom gik ma owacho gote. Let me remind her ni ODM is not in government. Mano gima paro no nego be ni bete wi at the back of the mind. And nyaka wajire kendo ni the person mantiere gi the instrument of power as we speak today and one William Samoei Ruto. Therefore, in terms, in as much as Jacom is trying to compete with William Samoei Ruto in terms of ideas, nyaka wajire ni ngamo sit on the ideas today and William Samoei. And I'll sit on this because NTG police, it commands the police, or sit on this because two, NTG pesa, it commands the treasury. Kawuono mbende, or sit a pala, you wager, or command God of this country. And most importantly, is the head of the executive who implements the development and the affairs of this country. In as much as Jacom Nyalogombo Mondomi or watch Nigi Makama, the buck stops with the president, who is the head of the executive. I don't mind about that. So as people who are in opposition, we will only give our views, we will only give proposals, but it is upon the government to implement whatever the government has put in place in form of a policy. Maka government of fail ni okonya implement the opposition, the opposition will just remain. But the government has got its manifesto. For example, William Samoei Ruto nigi manifesto ne mar the UDA. Mawuoyo about olojo piny pesa, the Asla Fund. Azimio and ODM, which feels that this idea is not an idea whose time has come, and therefore it is an idea that should be aborted. It is an idea that should be done away with. Ruto, being the head of the executive, will continue on implementing this idea. So manage madwani mondo wabitiere gi karoni. Ni wabro compete, but nitiere kama we will not match the president because he sits on the money, is the head of the executive who runs the affairs of this country in terms of development. Kawa pinge, because we criticize each and every time we say, why are roads not being fixed? He will go ahead and select on the few roads that he wants to be fixed. Mantire joge mar sycophants, and that is the siasambaya, maishambaya, mawasebedo kawalose from the time when Moi was in power up to date. And that is what Ruto is doing. The other day he came here in Nyanza, no wacho ndara, they lost ndara mongo Moroni. When he went back to Nairobi, nege cut kata nege slash the budget, man fix that road. There are no loss up to today. Ruto not the Homa Bay, not promise a lot of projects in Homa Bay. He said, I will work to learn the lost Nyakandara maim, Simon go bene loso, Maneno go bene loso maram, Ruto no the canyo, Moya ondara maram, Moajandara, no the golam. Up to today, okay, Mosatimandara. Ruto went to Vega, Oya OP, Mono go bene MC Maya, the governor, who work canyo, onge any good thing that is happening. Ruto no Ringomeru, this was only to do politics about in Meru, nothing good is doing there. Ruto no Romogi Chief Justice, Martha Koome, or promise what 25 judges, which are promise about the 11 judges, or promise Martha Koome ni the new negeche, ede mi pesa. In the real sense, in a bear nigi Ruto te kunyati imka opoket ge budget. Budget mo angoro masani, pesa magik mano wacho no the timokota is not there. So magi in richo madwana kwanne Caroline kech podo kone magi. Podo penjo maricho. Kora kwano ne magi mondo ngeni we are having a porojo government. We are having a porojo president. President Wajaba and President Maja Jaba and Gimora Moramo Wacho is not something that is implemented. Omio Magia dwani mondo mionge. Tacha kanise kendo. ODM nitiere gi manifesto mare. Abro dwaro ne banka ngatie komae. I will give at least I will refer to look for that document, which is a manifesto mar the ODM. How well it is in manifesto mar ODM worry about good things. To obedo ogimora morate obedo in terms of okawe through the very constitution the supreme document marwa in the constitution. Owacho kaka pinyo nego benerian. To worry about the rights. The first right is right to food. The second right is right to shelter. The third right is right to health. Magogin gik moko duto te makatiba maruo wuoye. Wuoye right mar every citizen to be respected. Wuoyo about kako nego bene japiny. Yubedo gi ngima gi dak maber. Omiyo mago gin gik manyaka wach ne kawuono. Katieko on the question mano penjo. I don't know watch any penjo ni to kaka piny arms adek mar the government. Abo chaka nyise kendo no chako som gimilongo ni separation of powers. In the separation of powers, one tiere gi each role mar each institution, kata each arm of the government. The first arm mar the government is the executive. The executive, the arm of the executive, the role Marimedum Kapisa is to provide for development framework for the people of Kenya. The president is to give hope to the people by ensuring that the people are under roof, by ensuring that the people are given enough food, by ensuring that the people get basic commodities. That is the role of the executive. By organizing and offering good roads, infrastructure across the country, for those that voted and those that did not vote, or those that are for the government and those that are against the government. The second role is for the legislature, which is another second arm of the government. Legislature makes good laws. They amend laws. They defend the constitution. That is the role of the legislature. They represent us. They oversight the government. The president Saniendi ochako kao the legislature. Kendo Saniendi koromano obey the legislature. Also compromise the legislature. Legislatures mawango Kawuono, members of parliament, are like puppets. They can't think on their own. They cannot make wise decisions on their own. They are thinking with their stomach and not with their brains. They are not making actions because they fear the president. They are seeking handouts from the president instead of standing for what is right for the people. They are not talking. The vocal members of parliament are very few. The likes of Otiende Amolo, the likes of Wandai, Babu Wino. These are very few members of parliament who can talk. The rest, Chalomana Monyeo for Pesa, Mawuke Azimio, Mawuke Kenya Kwanza. Genjo Monyeo, Wangeo, Joma Wuke Azimio, Mawu Mutegino. Mark Nyamita Genjo Monyeo, Paula Burgin Genjo Monyeo, Shakil Shabir Ginigin Jomosa Nyeo, Mago Jomonga Gimanya Lawache Village, Uinja. Mbunge Mabondo, Mochanda, Mago Jomonyeo Monga Gimanya Lawache, Jalango, Mago Jomonyeo Monga Gimanya Lawache. Oui. On the third arm is the judiciary. Judiciary is for the people, the ordinary people. That is where we rely on Kakajo Pain. That is the only voice that we are remaining with as a people. Then you realize that this last stage, Mawantire gi ops Kakajo Pain, and the president Duanye, how do I compromise its ideas? Who do I dictate on this independent institution? So what am I watching? One could say Kakajo Pain. In Caroline, in Aboxan, in Obungo, in Namachielo, Wakonja Jakomra Ila Mondo Dinga, in pushing for what is right. Mondo William Samoei Ruto, or listen to what we are saying as Kenyans. Said that when it will reach to a time, Makoro Wabro apply the Article 37 of the Constitution, Wabro the streets, then it will be our last resort, Kakajo Pain. But as for now, let us first speak out these bad things and tell William Samoei Ruto that we will not accept him do all this under our watch. Thank you.
Wow. Erokamano Mheshimiwa. Obedo Monde Sore, you've come very tough, eh? It's a nice one. Chunya gombo ni mundu adhi mbele gigini. Kwa biro comment section kayo. Awinyo ni ma Churchill duro wacho ni Mheshimiwa Obungo which kapok Ruto bede loch. MCA moko ne chamo pesa without doing development. Example, your ward. Wabere gikanyo. Kwa donje siasa mek county kai. Kwa ng'iyo gik madhi nyime e county. Be iparo ni kata Caroline Yu main kanyo, kata Mheshimiwa, be iparo ni koro jopiny okao paro te away from the development which is concerning the county and the devolved function. Kila ng'ato ng'iyo mana serikal mbele kocha wachango, to tiende piny koni okwang'i gima dhi mbele. To kuom wachni, jogo machamo pesa, owinjo kata e counties kae, jo county mang'eny, pesa biro but jogo chamo to giwacho ni Ruto okor pesa. Mano be inasemekana hivyo. To be, kwang'iyo jok manovuka sakafu kacha, mang'eny tiyo to mang'eny ok ti. But moko be goyo joma tiyo gi, nikech gino giti, to jok modhi movuka sakafu tiyo. Mabe chalo ni, koro jopiny wacho ni ato ng'amodong' adong'a korka baba ni, ento koti to tek sana e ground. To ng'amodhi ka jagot ni, ero waneno sekelo na achiel ariyo adek kama. Koro ing'eni kae japiny be nigi kibaji, koro ing'eni ber king'isi gimineno than king'isi gimonengo igen. Unaona? Iwacho ni a stone in hand is better than none. A bird in hand, one bird in hand is better than two. Iwacho ganade. One in hand is better than one. Iwacho ganade, Caroline. Apparently, you know that saying. How do you say it?
A bird in hand is better than two flying.
Yeah, a bird in hand is better than two on the tree. Yeah, two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Mheshimiwa. Wachi nini
Gimana
nade?
wachon.
Oh, okay.
Kapok Mheshimiwa wuoyo, en ni gimachielo mantie ni nitie gimiluongo ni disbursement mabiro e county level. There is that nitie pesa mabiro e county. To samane Mheshimiwa Obungo Wich wuoyo, nowacho ni nitie development moko monego bed ni MCA ematimo, mabe ok apar ka nitie nikech ang'ega maber ni MCA they do a lot of oversight role. Machielo nitie gik ma governor emonego bed ni timre nade ema launch. To aparo ni in every quarter kata there is amount that is being disbursed to the county. Pesa mabedo disbursed e county ni, be itiyo kode kaka onego bed ni itiyo kode? Koso pesa ni ok bi? Nikech kwang'iyo gi sani jopiny ywak, gimobiro matek, pesa onge, gimoro amora onge, to kata development ok wane. Koro ok wang'eyo ni development ni onego bed ni sirikal mamalo ema biro timonwa, koso nitie pesa mabiro e county kae monego bed ni wayudo. Kwa mfano, iyudo ka e education sector, gik moko kaka TVET gin under county, ok gin e national sector. Tiyudo ni kata TVET mane i county ni pod ok tim maber, onge gi gigo madwarre, onge gi jopuonje mowinjre, to waywak ne national government. Be wakwong wang'iyo gi odwa kae ni gini be dhi maber, matis momiwa ni kata mang'eny momiwa ni, bo timo gima dwarre. Eka wachako wach niya, oore matis modong' cha ni kanye.
Boxan, gima chandowa kabisa e counties and corruption. And kapok awuoyo about corruption, mokwongo yiena mondo awach ni nitiere kendo gimiluongo ni separation of powers. Teko kaka office tiyo. En adier ni e counties nitiere misappropriation of funds kata embezzlement. Pesa itiyogo e yo marach e counties mawa. Nikech mokwongo wantiere gi kaka onego bed ni pesa kobiro to ichulo gimiluongo ni recurrent expenditure. Itimo godo maintenance, iolo godo fuel, ichulo godo salaries, itimo godo a few things. Then the rest of the money, the 30%, are not for development. 70% is for recurrent expenditure. Then 30% is for development. This 30% emok chopi. The recurrent expenditure eto chopu because staffs ichulo salary unless the national government will release funds. But the national government will release funds, the staffs mag counties stay chulo salaries. Counties all of geche kendo gimitimone maintenance and mano gimatimore. And every other resource mobile madi for recurrent expenditure, any tiyo kodeo maka. Now, kamajo penji wake and development. Kabiro ni awards, momio chachi lo penjo machalo gamano. Gimachando wa kabisa awards, momio nani so Caroline, samana uwe mokwong. Nintiere gik moko ma onego beni matindo ma samoro president onego beni waste his energy. Onego beni president nyalo kata were godo. Kaka uwe about launching. Wacho ni gimaduong' kabisa. And counties, MCAs okunego beni timo tenders. But nitie gimiluongo ni conflict of interest. Conflict of interest and near. Idwa geri CD in a very particular ward. Wati kata Gimanyatabi, for example. Kata Kondele ward, kata Kolwa Central, kata Market Milimani. You realize this seche medwa team
tender ma simple mar ECD. Ng'ama chako kao tender ni en MCA ma kao this tender through proxies. Nyiso ni nying kambi ne emo kao tender ni. To MCA madwa timo implementation of a project ni. En MCA monego bende timo oversight. So, okinyal timo oversight, to in achiel ni in bende kendo imedhi timo implementation, to in achiel ni in bende mi represent jopiny. Nyiso ni you cannot give the report to the people at the same time in money timo that tender. Ka itime marach, oko lose to the satisfaction, oko chopo to the standards ma obedo dictated a BQ, kichitie gimilongo ne bill of quantity. Ma every project nitiere go. Owe about the time frame, owe about the allocated amount of money, owe about the contractor madetimo that project. Kaine contractor madetimo the project. Bende nyalo question to in MCA. Bende nyalo question kaka project or team beyond the time frame mobedo stipulated the BQ. So that is conflict of interest. So that is what is affecting these counties. Maane kama kelo corruption then. Nikech MCS gigi compromise themselves into the system, the enemy of these tenders. So that is a problem manyaka wa yere. Kawabire bursary. Wabire bursary. Ma is also a function mar the county government. Bursary mabiro na nyithindo mar needy. MCA monego bedni oversight. The board, moketigi the county, board married the bursary at the ward level. MCA mikelo reforms. MCA ema chokon yero nyithindo modwa miyo bursary. Nikech nyithindo gieki, either their parents omiye pesa, or engi some connections about these parents ma mag nyithindo magin the needy. That is where we get problems. So kwa big fair representation awards one because the paying of youth services kakonego benegilo. For example, very quickly in case of kabido time mondo mi atim. Abiro ka list moro matin, abiro soma pangama na mar ya uchiel ken. Ma en list mar nyithindo manyotimo penj mokalo iluongo ni Kusao primary. Tineno nyithindo. Nyathi mokwongo noyudo iluongo ni Stephen Onyango. Mane somo Kusao primary. Oyudo 4.6. Nyathi mar ariyo mane somo Kusao primary iluongo ni Granton Omondi. Nyathi moyudo Stephen Onyango ni endi moyudo 4.6 nino luongo Maranda. Then Granton Omondi moyudo 4.04 ni oluong Kabianga. Then Fidel Model moyudo 396 bende oluong Maseno. Abraham Omondi moyudo 393 oluong Kamusenga. Then Edwin moyudo 393. Then Mugik Joram Omondi 391 oluong Maseno. Gima lit na kabisa ni list masomo ni endi. Not even one from this school mommy the scholarship talking from needy background. Then kedi ingio Manyata primary nyithindo be perform maber kama. Ichake dhi ng'iyo Obenju nyithindo be perform. Mano from Kondele. Just an example nikech akelo ni the evidence. Okago MCA akelo the evidence. Wacha kwa dhiki and another school which is Magadi the same. Koro achaka awadi a system mondo wapenji ni nyithindo manyo perform maber giki. Ang'o momiyo gibedo considered above san kata Carol. Ibo yudo ni nyithindo mokaw gin nyithindo ma work from families ma are well off. To bende ok perform maber. Mano nyisi nango we are poorly represented. Mano is the form of corruption. Money winja wage because there is bribery that has taken place. Either somebody from the office has fixed someone from outside, or someone from outside has made sure ni obedo considered the system through an illegal way. So magi gik mo way.
But Mheshimiwa,
Kawo way the interface mar the education. Ma Caroline Mewo.
Yeah. Ngitaneno saa oseweyo wakae anigi penjo moro Mheshimiwa. Maybe kapo kijiwe kanyo. Yeah. Kapo kijiwe. Wow. opek seriously. And gipenjo. Maybe kiwachoni Ntindo list mine gono Ntindo poko year, Ntindo poko the and they performed well. But kwangyo serikal mamalo which is supposed to send the funds down to the common wananchi. Usually they've not allocated the actual amount. Miyudo ni pesa monengo or on time or gioro on time. Tiende ni koro the representative kata jo NGCDF no. Ingeni pesa no te oknya work te at once. Ineno. Nikech iyudo ni onengo bed 10,000. To kar 10,000 ni gioro 3,000. Ingeni 7,000 remka. Kose karo ama nkech mano onge kaka joginya ama ni aje nkech mano that's the thing going on kinyo video ma watugo kae ineno governor himself governor Orengo said yo serikali gin giwacho ni waseoro pesa but ukikuja kwa ground oken pesa no not on time kose magite have you considered this mheshimiwa kose
sama wuoyo kodi box and awuoyo kodi kaka ng'ama nigi knowledge about kaka budget run iwinja sani sama wuoyo sani ok wawuo about pesa mar financial year 2023 nikech 2023 pok wachako wawuoyo financial year 2022 2023 already pesa gintiere counties wawinjore pesa man nyithindo monego bed ni dhi school gin pesa mantie sama wuoyo kawuo about pesa mar the NGCDF ipenja penjo in relation to the counties. Sama wuoyo about na NGCDF bende wang'eyo ni NGCDF bedo guided through an act mar the NGCDF. So that act bende wacho kaka onego bed ni nyithindo ikonyo. And gin nyithindo mage? Ok gin nyithindo duto. Gin nyithindo ma needy. Gin nyithindo ma wuok from a poor background. Gin nyithindo ma wuok families mar PWDs ma gin nyithindo mok nyal konyo emikonyo. So kaen pesa monego bed ni iwacho ingeni kata kako for example okadwa dok ne MPs but kata kadwa wacho ni Kisumu Central population ma wan godo Kisumu Central duong kendo the registered voters ma Kisumu Central is more than 130,000. Unlike Kisumu East kama Caroline wuoke mibro yudo ka registered voters in less than kata 70,000. Tiyudo ka pesa muchiu tichiu across the country en pesa marom. For Kisumu Central en 100 and yudo ka en 100 million, Kisumu East and then 100 million, Kisumu West the 100 million, Seme 100 million, despite the population and even the total registered voters. So government should also sit down and they also consider such kind of parameters. Nika poni population makanyo is more bigger. Kendo nyithindo manitiere kanyo gin nyithindo mang'eny moingo kaka nitiere in other places. Then they should re-add the locations bursaries material in such places. In the entire county, Kisumu County chiwo 4 million. 4 million ichiwo for each ward. Imio for Kondela ward. In the county Kisumu, we have 35 wards. Imio each ward 4 million, 4 million, 4 million. This 4 million is for just ordinary bursary. Mabeo nego benemio joma thagore completely. Then one tiere get the scholarship. Mimio nyithinda about 10 to 12. Nyithinda bar maimio bursaries from each ward. Ema wuoe. And you realize because these wards, MCS Mawuoke wards gintiere a lot of interest and the ward bursary committees mantiere kuondegi and chairman, the representatives of this ward committee, here are the incompetent people. Mabeo can't understand the need mag joma nitiere within those places. They end up making mess up with these funds monogo benegi assist to the needy. Kati on that tawachoni as for the technical colleges, iyudo ka kata waru mwantiere godo ma en Kisumu Polytechnic ma wantiere go kata milongo ni Rotary. Nyithindo thagore seriously because pesa ma imiyogi en pesa matin ma ok nyal konyo. Tiyudo ka seche moko nitiere kata pesa be olewo koko chopo kalore gi pesa be bedo disbursed in good time from the national government. So there is a lot of things that needs to be done to assist these people. Masomo either matimo technical courses kata manitiere
secondary school kata mantiere university. Iyudo ka in some cases nyithindo mantiere university miyo pesa marom gi nyithindo mantiere secondary, which is wrong because you don't you just know that fees mar university or from the fees mar secondary. Fees ma samoro imiyo nyathi mantiere day school and fee matin mok di compare gi nyathi mantiere boarding school. Lastly katieko, nitiere cases mathoth kabisa mag nyithindo mosebiro kata an awuon kuoma personally oda. Nyithindo ma ok obedo considered gi school to gisewuotho e offices mag sirikal ka gikwayo support. Kendo iwuondogi ni biro konygi to bang'e onge gimikonyogigo. Omiyo gino wawacho ni nyaka kawa beti office kata joma ni office sani nyaka gi make sure ni pesa mar sirikal okonyo nyithindo masomo e skunde mag sirikal, nyithindo mok nyal completely. Giwe konyo godo nyithindo ma jonyuol gi nyalo nikech ginyiewo scholarship. Mano gima kwedo e okang' mamalo.
Wow, wow, wow. Caroline, I wish we could go farther and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Obedo mapek, obedo mayom, obedo manyangafu, obedo ma akari keke. Aneno comment section kaya pek sana. Philip Manasse, erokamano sana. Chachilo Dur, erokamano sana. Dogman, Arab Dogman Madida, erokamano sana. Thomas Ojuang, erokamano sana. Jalego, wacho ni wamos ne jo bunga duto te Onga City. Erokamano sana. Lilia Nemirimbori, asante sana. Wow. Erokamano sana Willy Sojok. Erokamano sana. Ongeri Ingo Pondo Tonitie yote 9. 11 ka unun kuno. Wow. Saa imeenda sana. Twako sebedo manyangafu, twako sebedo mabor. I wish we could go on with this. So ongeringo baba na. I don't know, Caroline, maybe nyama na ngiso wa goodbye nikech sao sebe jogi nyaloro nwa kae to ingeni pokwa golo pieno koto. Koth biro be, koth nyago malazi oko ka. Inyago nwa
Asante
parting shot.
sana.
Yeah.
Asante sana ne joma winjowa gi joma nenowa. Wagwero kamano ne mheshimiwa wa ma olimo wa odiochieng' ma kawuono. Amor gi twak ma kawuono. Moloyo twage duto, twak ma kawuono ne twak manyangafu. At least wawinjo ni Kenya wa ochiko kanye. Ang'o mwatimo maber, ang'o mwatimo marach. Mak mana adwa weyo jopiny gi penjo moro achiel kata gi wach moro achiel. Sama ng'ato ong'eyo maber ni komiyi siling' 10,000, siling' 10 tidhi tiyo gi siling' 10,000 no. To kong'eyo ni komiyi siling' 10,000 tidhi tiyo gi siling' 5,000, koro ok omiyi 10, omiyi 7, imbe idhi tiyo gi 3, koro ok inyal luwe nikech imbi kwelo kaka embe okwelo. Koro kwatemo matek watiyo maber e kaunti, taparo ni kata malo kocha joka biro tiyo maber. Aparo ni ng'acha okawo chir nikech wambe wakwelo piny ka matin momiyo wano to wambe wachak wakwalo. Wanyalo tiyo kode maber to wanyalo kete on toes. Wang'ise ni miyo 7 watiyo go te. En ng'eni sani ok wanyal kete on toes, ok wanyal penje ni ang'o momiyo ioronwa pesa matin mar basari, ang'o miyoronwa pesa matin mar development, nikech moronwa matisno wambe wachak wakwalo, ok wanyal account for matin moa wayudono. Asanteni sana. Asante sana kuom jowinjowa gi jogo maneno odiochieng' ma kawuono. Warwakou kendo odiochieng' machielo. Asanteni, karibuni tena.
Asante sana. I don't know mheshimiwa ingi parting shot kose wacha ni yote 9 nikech wadwa bedo kodi kae kendo. Kik ilor sani kose waluongi ma next pok ibi ilor no officially nikech sani ng'eni twak. We still have a lot to talk about mheshimiwa, if you allow me.
Adwa nyiso William Samoei Ruto ni entiere gi a duty as the head of this country to fix the problems that are affecting us as Kenyans. That is his role today as the head of this country. 2, Adwa appreciate the opposition led by Raila Amolo Odinga for putting the current government to checks and balances. He is doing his role very effectively kendo amor kabisa. And Maradek, Adwa wacho ni William Samoei Ruto should respect the judiciary. He should understand his role as the head of the executive and implements what is supposed to be implemented. Let him leave the judiciary to do its independent duty as stipulated by the Kenyan Constitution. And lastly, every elected leader has a role to perform. The MCAs has their roles, which is representation, legislation, and oversight. The governor has got a role, which is to implement on the development projects of a county. The women rep has a role to check on the total welfare of the women and the youths of its county. The MPs have a role to make sure that they organize a country in terms of putting up proper legislative framework by making good laws, amending the laws, and standing for the country. We have a role and a duty as civilian citizens of this country, and we must see to it that we exercise it in accordance with the Kenyan Constitution. Katieko, tagoero kamano ne Aboxen, tagoero kamano ne Caroline, utimo maber kendo wachung' motegno. Kenya en piny ma waduto wantie, nyaka wa make sure ni wa defend gimoro amora madhi mbele. As for the Sufuria Revolution movement, wawacho ni we are still intact and we are checking how the country is headed, and soon we will make our very serious statement on following what we expect to do as a people. Thank you.
Wow, chonjo kabisa. Aneno comment section kaya rap dogman madida captured wayudi sana chungi gombo ni mondo awuoye wach county to aneno mheshimiwa kanyo ko oketo list maber, oketo list ya wallet to wacho ni Manuel B msema kweli, aneno ko bane kanyo ibage kamoka jabo onge ringo fundo to nitie, wacho ni Manuel B msema kweli, hii ndio na Thank you sana. To next week, Chenro mabiro mheshimiwa, wadwa tackle county yote. Wadwa donje county kae. Wacho ni jopiny dwaro ni county kae magidwaro. National ni toewa. National cake ni duong' sana. Koka winjo ni okolose maber. Olose gi magadi. Ting'e ni magadi nyoso chong. Kichame mang'eny. To koro wabodonje county kae, winjo ni county kae alia ng'eny mimake bungu kae to onge regulations nikech agweng' ng'eny. Agweng' to iwacho ni agweng' kia chike. Koro wadhi donje county kae next week to yote tisa onge ringo pondo to nitie. En mana lweny mae marwa. Med bedo kae, keep sharing, Gwel Wadu, onge ringo. Asanteni sana. Caroline, erokamano sana. Mheshimiwa, it was a pleasure and it was a honor having you here tonight. It's so a good way and it's always a nice energy and positivity to have you here. You give us hope, Mheshimiwa. Well, we have hope in 2027. Onge ringo and manalweg.
Aqui